Hello, I'm back with another Cardinal. Kind of on a Cardinal kick here lately. I was scrolling through eBay and I saw this listed as a Cardinal 4, and it was rough. It needs a couple bell springs, I believe. We might find that they're just really dirty, but I looked at it and I thought, that's not a Cardinal 4. So I got it for, like, believe it or not, this is a great deal, like $35 or something. And other than it was packaged really horribly for shipment, it looked like a little 3-year-old kid packaged it up. It had tape wrapped all around the reel. Just regular old clear packing tape. It was not well packed and not well protected. It's missing the tag right there. I'm gonna try to find one of those for it. Haven't even looked yet. I may be going to do. I've got a whole hedgehog package coming to upgrade one of these reels, and it may be this one, but I would still have to fix that. But that's pretty dirty. This reel's been well used, but not in horrible shape considering. When you take these handles out, you've got a little. Let's see if I can find my stuff here. Now, there's the one I use a lot. I'll keep it out. There's a little felt ring up in here that will sometimes break when you get it out. The good news is they're still available. This one's good. There's nothing wrong with that. We'll clean that up good. Take this screw out of the side. You're going to see about 3 of these videos on Cardinal 3s because now I have 3 of them. When I started out just to buy one and modify it, I started finding deals and I just kept buying them. I mean, it's not horrible. Like I said, it's missing the label, but you can still make out the Cardinal 3 from the label. There's a stamp ring down in here that you'll have to get a hold of and hope it doesn't fly out there. There you go. We'll pull this shaft out. I found some of these have a washer on them back there. Some don't. Couldn't tell you why. Couldn't tell you what the difference is. This little clip comes out. And you'll pull your cross wind off. My pliers here. Cross wind lever just pulls straight off of the. Well, you could just push the whole gear out, but we're just going to take this off right here. Maybe. These reels are not made to switch handles, and I'm glad because I don't like the handle over on the other side anyway. All right. It wanted to be stubborn, so there is a shim underneath that. There's a shim underneath the shaft. Take that off. These are brass gears. Good stuff. All right, next thing is to take the rotor off. 9/16. And that pulls up out of there. It's just a keeper, or I'm sorry, it's a lock, key lock. I'll come back to the rotor. Let's get the rest of the main body undone here. Just turn off the anti-reverse. We'll take a pair of snap ring pliers, put on that, and keep that thing covered because they fly out for no reason. Now you'll notice I've got new bearings for this, but we'll try to clean that one up. It's got a little rubber O-ring on it. That's to kind of soften the click. And it's a common size O-ring, but I don't have the size in front of me. But you can also get those too. I guess what I'm trying to say, there's not much on these reels you can't pick up. This screw down here on the drag knob is left-hand thread. And it was loose. Very loose. These numbers won't stay on there. I don't care how hard you try. When you go to clean this factory knob, it will not stay on there. Been there, done that. Can't put them back on the 3s and 4s. You can on the 6s and 7s. Now you'll take, you pull that little, I'm getting way ahead of myself. This little angle bracket's in there like that. After you take the knob off, the screw, take your tweezers or needle nose pliers and pull that off. Then you can slide this over out of the way and get the drag out of it. The drag has to kind of go out and up. It can be a pain. Fought with a couple of them. It will go though. Just gotta be patient. Don't tear anything up. Alright, so it's out. We'll go through that in just a second. Once you get it that far, this piece just picks up out of there. And then this piece just pushes up from the bottom. There's your whole entire drag assembly. This piece here that adjusts your drag is left-hand thread. Take that out. You'll clean those two pieces separately so they'll clean up really well. The drag, let's go to it before we go into the clicker. You've got a steel washer that's bent. It's first. Then another steel washer. And these got these little points on them. All those points line up. There's your first drag washer. I need to order some drag washers, but these look okay. I gotta find a source for drag washers for these things. Then you got a keyed washer. Then you got another drag washer. Super smooth drags on these little reels. They do really well. And then you got another of the flat washers with the points. And then there is your clicker. That clicker makes contact with this little wire. And that's what tells you your line's being pulled out by a fish. You'll click on that. The clicker for your drag adjustment is back here. I don't normally take that off. I just leave it alone. The anti-reverse is down in here. You'll take this screw loose. Just take it loose. Take your, I'll use this little eyeglass screwdriver bent at an angle. I'll pop that spring off like that. The spring goes The short arm with the bend goes underneath the anti-reverse arm, and the long arm actually will pull down against the top or the inside edge of the selector. We'll go through that and put it back together. Right. Then here is your, it was stuck. It's stuck in there. And then the last snap ring that will try to disappear on you is down in there on the selector. Just get a hold of it and pop it off. Make sure your finger's over it. There's 3 snap rings, the E-clips in this reel. They want to make sure you have fun chasing them. There's the whole housing. Dirty. Over here. Well, I don't know. I guess it could be bent. Maybe it didn't. No, it's not. You got this special. They make an actual special tool for this. This tool here works really well, and you can buy it at any hardware. It's a bit. It's just a bit. Goes in a driver, but I use it in a. This is a quarter drive socket snubby with a quarter drive socket in it, and I just put this bit in there, and it fits perfectly, and it's cheap. You can buy it anywhere. And you'll just loosen that. See how it's made? Where that goes in there just like that. Once you get it screwed out to a certain point, you can certainly use just a regular old screwdriver on it. But you can also just take your fingers and take it loose. This will slide out. There's a little standoff in there. There's your roller. The roller has a liner in it. A lot of people don't even notice. I'm having a hard time getting parts out, my tools out of this little tray. I don't know what it is. They don't always want to come out. I take this tapered punch. It's different size on each end, but you take the small end of it and push that liner right out. The liner goes in. I'll go over that when I put it back together. There's a shoulder in there at the liner. The shoulder on the liner goes into the recess on the roller. Okay, then over here, just that spring's broken. So before I can put this reel back together, I've got to order a spring for it. Probably. No, it's not broken. It just slipped. That I can fix. So because there's 2 different springs, and I don't know if they're different, but I think they are. I always attach the spring to the side it comes out with. And I'll clean it just like that. But it wasn't broken. Over here, you can take this little lever and throw it, and this one will go into a relaxed state. And that's where you take it off at. Very easy to set the bell springs on this reel. And I won't worry about this bell spring because it'll be by itself and it will go with this side. But I think I've got all the parts are here for this reel. I'll be able to rebuild it today. That's a good thing. We pull that off, and there's another bell spring. This piece here, there's a spring on it. Take your needle nose, hold this over like this, Take your needle nose and slip that spring off of that lever. And then it's just a matter of taking that screw out right there. I've never found one with a shim on it, but it's always possible. So keep up with what comes off of where. Such simple little reels, fun to build, fun to rebuild, really fun to fish with. They fish so well. You just fish that little lever out of there. Boy, it was dirty. Look at all that mess on there. It will run so much better when I get it clean. That's the disassembly. I'm going to clean it up. This is going to be a little gem right here. You're not going to believe this reel when I get done with it. It's going to be like a brand new reel. I've got, let's just make sure our bearings are the same. Chances are there's nothing wrong with that bearing. I haven't found one yet that the bearing was bad in, but we're going to put a new one in it. That's a Fast Eddie's 688 2SC. That is a ceramic rubber sealed bearing. It's a ABEC 7, I believe. And they were not expensive. I ordered 3 of them. So let's do this. Let's clean it up. Okay, let's put this Cardinal 3 back together. That I bought a Cardinal 4, got a Cardinal 3. Can't make this up. People don't have a clue. And sometimes I'm glad. It's about 5 minutes after I took it apart, so it didn't take long to clean it. I will have to say mechanically, this really nasty little reel was probably in the best shape of any of the Cardinals I've messed with so far. It looks horrible, but the mechanical part of it's in immaculate condition. So let's put it back together. We'll start out with, and I'm going to use good old lightning lube here. Put a little bit of grease right there. And we'll put the handle, the little selector in there. Put just a little bit of grease on there. And then it gets a snap ring. And you notice all the plastic cleaned up really pretty on this reel. Don't fly. There we go. And see, that just slides back and forth. You'll need a little bit of grease in there again. What I do with it, there it is. Go ahead and put it in now while you can get to it. Take a little bit of grease on that flat right there and where that bolt pivots. It's wanting to act up on me. Getting low on this lightning lube. Need to pick me some more up. Not cheap stuff either. It's good stuff. Real good stuff. Yeah, okay. I'll put that in there. I had a little bit too much in there. All right. The lever goes in like this. And the lever's in good shape. I didn't see any excessive wear to it. So it'll go in just like this. You can kind of set it into its little pocket there. And your spring will go on loosely. Don't put it in there all the way yet. Then start your screw. Get a couple threads going on the screw. And then you can take your spring, pop down in there. You pop the spring over top of that little pin on the selector. It goes just like that. Then you can tighten it down. But now while you tighten it down, make sure that when you tighten it down, that lever moves. Because what happens is that shoulder ends up catching it. So you want that lever to, and this one's not behaving. You want it to be able to move like that. Okay, then you can cut your selector to anti-reverse off. It's wanting to be a little picky, isn't it? Here we go. All right. Hang on, I've got grease on my tools here. Okay. We'll do the drag. First piece of the drag is the adjuster part of it. So we'll just put a little bit of, it does not have to be the Zebco grease in there. You can use pin grease. This has left-hand thread, so you start that in there. Take it all the way down, just snug. Don't put a bunch of torque on it. Now on this, you can put some of the blue grease in here. In fact, it wouldn't hurt to get some grease all in right here. And that just drops through right there. Okay. And take off a little bit of excess there. Then your knob, doesn't really matter where it goes. Doesn't have any numbers on it now anyway. That's a real pain. I don't know what to do about that. This is left-hand thread, so it always gets me. I don't know why I have such a hard time with this one screw on these things. Wanting to get started. See how it's doing? It's cross thread, and I really haven't found a good reason for that yet. I have that trouble on every one of these I build. I have trouble getting that started. I think I got it this time. That's all in real good shape. And, once you get it down to where it holds it into that, you can tighten it down. You don't have to kill it. Good 2 fingers tight would be fine. It will never come loose. All right. Now you line that up where it's that little slotted piece there will meet the slots on this. And we'll put a little bit of grease in there on that. And this goes in with a narrow slot over top of the adjuster. Like that. And just leave that for now. All right, over here, here's your drag. We'll get just a little bit of Zebco grease on there. Put this first washer on. All right, then I gotta get my cowl's grease out. That's way too much grease. And then your keyed washer. Can't hold on to anything. You get thin flat washer with 2 points. Needs to be flat. Drag washer, thick keyed washer. Your next drag washer. I'm using Cow's Universal Reel and Star Drag grease. And the next drag washer. And then you'll get your next flat washer. See how it's not bent? And then this is a spring washer, and it is bent. See? Am I in the camera? And it goes on whichever way you want to put it, really. The main thing here is all those points line up. And they go in the reel like this. And it could be a pain. Not gonna lie. Oh me. Goodness gracious. I wish I could show you how to do this, but there's no room. I can barely get my fingers in there to get it started. And it's up on top of that for some reason. I don't know why. Probably one of the hardest drags to assemble ever. There it goes, but not quite. There we go. So all those points are lined up. Now you can take this and adjust it, and it should squeeze down on that drag, just like it did. I need a Q-tip. I gotta clean some of this excess grease out of here. Don't mind it being on the inside of the reel. I don't want it squeezing out on the outside. Okay. There's that. That's the drag and the anti-reverse dog. I forgot one thing. Loosen this back up. And then this little piece here would definitely benefit from a little bit of grease on both sides of it. I apologize for forgetting this. But it goes on the smaller reels, it's the same on both sides. Now the bigger reels, there's a certain way it's got to go, but it'll go in there just like that and push it out. Then you can tighten your drag. Okay. Sorry about that. Now, your pinion. I don't grease the anti-reverse part of it. Don't really need plenty of lube on brand new bearing. It's fine. But I will lubricate the worm gear. So get your, I'm using lightning lube, but really pin lube's fine. The cow's lube would be fine. And you'll put that in there. I need a rag over here. And you put that in there. Snap ring. Don't let it go flying on you. See, I got my thumb over here, right? You got to push it down in there. Yeah, it's not seated. Still working on it. There it goes. You'll hear it click in. And test your clicker out. That one's not going to be real loud, is it? It's okay. And that is all I can do with that. Well, no, it's not all I can do with that. But it's all I'm going to do with that right now, because I'm going to build the rotor. First thing in is this piece here, and I'm going to give it some grease. right there where it pivots. And this is going to go in. You got to kind of fish it in there the correct way. There it goes. And then get your screw started on it. Now I'm going to get a little bit of help with this. I can't get my fingers down in there. I got it out, but I can't get it back in. So I'm going to use a screw setter and put it right down in there. And give that a good tight. 2 fingers tight. And any excess lube, get it out of there. Need to get just a little dab of glue, a little dab of lube right there. Okay. Now, the spring, I always take my needle, these are called needle pliers, and I'll hook them right there. It's getting ready to fly off on me. I'll hook them, well, I did it wrong. I'll start out right here on the peg back here, and I'll come around here. I still got them wrong. I can't even show you this, honestly. Let me try doing it like this. Maybe you can see it. You take that, and it's got to be just like that. Not hard, a little tedious. That's your bell trip. This rotor had some stains in. I couldn't get them out, but it is what it is. All right, we're going to take some of the Zebco lube and squeeze down in there. That the bell spring twists, and so you want some lubricant on it. And here's your bell arm. It goes on just like this in a relaxed state. Just like that. And then this smaller nut goes on there. Or smaller screw. And for some reason it doesn't want to start. This is another one I have trouble with on these reels. It's not left-hand thread. It just doesn't want to start. Shoot. Well, this is very unusual. Here we go. Tighten that up. 2 fingers tight. And then just pull that around to where it's like right there. And that's your, that side works fine. This side wasn't working. So let's give it some of that Zebco grease and see where the problem is. One thing I don't like about this, it's made differently than any of the others I've ever seen, but we'll get through that. I think maybe this bell spring was just a little bit out of whack. And I don't know what I got here. There we go. That's how I keep them separate. I use a piece of pipe cleaner. And that needs to be cleaned. It's been, that bell spring has been in there the wrong way for so long it's wore a groove in that bell. So I'm going to have to bend on this just a little bit, unfortunately, to make it make better contact up in there. It's bent down and needs to be bent up right here. Give it just a little bend up. It's just something you do by feel, really. And then that, you can twist this on there so you can better align it. And that will just hook into that hole right there. I think I got it. We'll see how it does once I get it all together. This screw over here is also a counterweight. This has got to come all the way around, but it's not working. Something's going on with it. I could have set the spring wrong. Seemed like I struggled on the last 3 that I worked on also. Yes, I did set the spring wrong. Okay. Goes like that. Pretty sure of it. So this tab needs to be on the back side of that, I think. Let's look at it and see. It's been a minute or 2. I guess it's been about a week since I did my last one. Yes. That's got to go all the way. There we go. Okay. We're good. Here's your roller. Roller's in great shape. A little dab of oil. Then you got the sleeve that goes in there against that shoulder. And a little dab of oil. And that goes up on there. Never hurts to give that a little dab of oil. And then this standoff goes on there. And then we're going to give that the threads on it just a hair, a little bit of grease. My stomach is growling this morning. Okay, now that goes into there. And then your nut. And our little 2-pronged bit. Okay. See, it's working now. The spring was never set right before. It'll come around to there, and then it'll trip underneath. And we won't do that right this second. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that on there. A little bit of grease on those threads. Set the rotor on. Line it up where the key on this, you put it on there, it needs to be between those 4 bosses there. And then you'll put this nut on. So it was a non-working reel when I got it. Non-fully functional. Partially functional. It's pretty quiet. I like more click than that. Can't do much about that, all right? I always test this, make sure it fits. Just go in the back way, make sure it fits. I had one, a 7 that was not good. So it gets this shim, and oil on this shaft, not grease. Oil. But grease the teeth. Grease slows the reel down, but you gotta have it. You gotta have some in there. Okay. Hold on to that. And put a little bit of grease in here. We'll set that down for a second. Got this felt, which I've lubricated. Pushes back down in that groove on the handle. And doesn't hurt to throw some more lube to it. Lubricate all your points. This will go in there backwards thread, so you'll thread it you'll thread it forward in the direction of rotation of the reel to tighten it up. Okay. That sounds really good. All right. Pull on that pivot on the paddle. Let it work itself down in there. Okay. Last thing to do to it. Well, not last, but getting there. Put the crosswind on. Let's put some grease on that. You've got a shim that goes down on there. And here's something to look at on this crosswind, is to make sure this piece pivots. Make sure that lock ring is on there. That needs to pivot, and it doesn't hurt to give that a little extra oil right there. And then this will sit right on there. And there's a snap ring. Try not to lose it. Like that. Then your axle shaft, and I've got a new axle shaft. Let's look at a new one compared to this old one. I'll explain to you why I buy these things. I do this on all these rear drag reels. I buy an extra axle shaft, and I'll tell you why. Good day. I've got one for a 4. I've got one for a 3 here. All right, somebody really wrapped this up good, didn't they? They're, you'll pay $15 or something like that a piece for these things, but that's for a 4. We won't worry about that one. Here's a 3. Got it off eBay. I'm starting me a whole place full of spare parts for these 3s and 4s. But why do I buy this? I spool my own reels up, and so therefore I use a drill and a chuck. And I can tell you right now, the original's in a lot better shape than the one I just bought. But I'll chuck a drill up right here and snap the spool in there and spool it up. And that is why I buy extras. And I'll put it up here in my little tray that I use for all my spooling stuff. Does that make any sense? I don't know. You tell me. It's just easier to spool up a reel. You don't get any line twists when you come off of because I buy all my line in 1/4 pound or 1 pound spools. And it just makes more sense to me to do it like that. You might have a better idea. That's how I do it. I don't have a spooling station anymore. I wish I did. So I made mine. You'll put that in there, and this little bitty snap ring, probably the hardest snap ring you'll ever set in your life, goes right there. And you're going to have to push it down with something. I take this little screwdriver here mostly and just, you'll hear it pop in place. And I'll take this grease, put a little dab of grease. Oh, I wonder I couldn't get anything out of that. That was empty. This little dab of grease right there. Let's go out just a little bit and put some more on it. And there it is. Isn't that a thing of beauty? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. These are spare parts. I'll put them in another place. This just threads back on there. I got to find the Cardinal 3 label for it. Shouldn't be hard. I think somebody reproduces those now. There's that. Let's take a rag here and wipe off all my greasy fingerprints and stuff. The other one I got in the other day is in much better shape than this one. So it'll probably get put on the shelf. This one may get the hedgehog stuff. We'll see. Or I might just put line on fish with it. But the other one I got in was definitely going to go on the shelf. It was a really pretty reel. We'll see what the next one I get in looks like. I've got, like I said, I've got a couple of these now. This one was not supposed to be a 3. Drag's working. I'm real happy with that. This is John Bench Fisherman. I really appreciate y'all hanging around to the end. You see what I do with my old bearings. It's not bad. All these bearings are good in here. I'll put it right in there and hang on to it for if I ever need it in the future. Thanks for watching. Love these old Cardinals. If you get a chance to pick one up and fish with it, do so. Put you some 4-pound test on there. Better yet, order you one of the new spools from Hedgehog. They're a little thinner. You don't have to put as much line on. This thing here is going to take about 500 yards for a 4-pound test. That's the way they did it back in the days. But take one of these old vintage reels fishing and stick around. You'll see some of my fishing videos coming up real soon. You're going to really enjoy that. They don't get much better than that. And take a kid fishing with you. Don't go by yourself. Take a kid and enjoy. Or better yet, a pro tip here, because I'm a dad, so I can call myself a pro. I've done this. If you're going to take a kid fishing, go there with the mindset that the kid's going to catch a fish and you're not. And be patient and teach them how to fish. And your first few times you do that, you'll be like, oh man, I could have caught that bass, or could have caught that big panfish, or whatever. Kick that out of your mind. Lose your ego, and be a mentor and show a kid how to fish. And the next thing you know, you'll be out there fishing with them. You'll realize that kid's doing it by themselves. And you can pat yourself on the back and say, I taught that kid how to fish. And now all of a sudden you got a fishing partner. And he'll want to go fishing every time, and you'll actually get more fishing in. You will enjoy it. By the time they're 10, 12 years old, they're going to use a bait caster. They're going to fish right side by side, shoulder to shoulder with you, and you'll learn from each other at that point. Because kids remember things well, and they're willing to try different things. And I think you'll find that to be a huge asset on the water the older they get. I really enjoy fishing with my boys. So this is John, Vintage Fisherman. Y'all please like and subscribe. And as I said, take a kid fishing. Thank you.